All right, it's time to go live. About to get this show started at 8 o'clock p.m. sharp. I have two guests today, Autumn and Akilah. Also got a special guest that I'm bringing on board. Special surprise, that's right. So we count down 6 minutes and 33 seconds till we get this show started. I need everybody to chime in and say hello. Five minutes to go. This is show number 4. That's right, 5 minutes to go, show number 4. Hello, I want everybody to say something. Say hello. I want to see who's chiming in right now. This is show number 4. 5 minutes, show number 4. Okay, Autumn, I see you. You went and diva-fied on us real quick. I see you. To go for show number 4. 4 minutes to go. Share this video. Share it on your page. I would appreciate it a lot. It helps actually. It actually helps the channel grow. It helps me continue to do the things that I'm doing right now. It's the same link that I sent you, Akilah.
I'm trying to find it now, so hold on.
Oh my God. Oh, it's going to be interesting, all right.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I usually like to try to get on early. Where'd I send it to you yesterday?
It's not over here. I know we are.
Oh my God. find it?
Nope. Where is it coming from?
Akilah, I sent it to you yesterday.
You're right there. Right there.
I'm going to send you the email again, Akilah. We're going to fight.
Okay.
Check email.
Okay.
Three seconds to go. Hello, social media land. 17, 16, 15, 13. 12 seconds to go. 10 seconds to go. All right. Thank you for tuning in to the Mr. He Got Game and Friends podcast. Today we got an interesting topic. It's Black women, how to heal and build confidence. We love you. Yes, I got enough people talking about we doing a lot of female bashing, and we need to do something positive for the females. So today I'm doing something positive for the females. We're going to find out how to help females heal because we love you, how to help females build confidence. And today I got a special guest. I got my Dr. Phil. I got a Dr. Phil that's going to come on the show a little bit later on. Dr. Phil, I can't wait for Dr. Phil to chime in. But in the meantime, in between time, I need you to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and chime on that bell. That actually helps the channel grow. Helps me continue to do the things that I'm doing right now. I'm going to introduce the guest right now. Autumn, how you doing?
Hi.
Tell the folks a little bit
good.
about yourself,
How are
Autumn.
you?
Good. Tell the folks a little bit about yourself, Autumn.
I can't wait. Oh, so I hate intros. A little bit about me.
Just a quick one.
I'm a
It's just a
techie
quick one.
by day. So I'm a techie by day, a mom, night, day, in the middle of the night, all day, 24/7. Mother of 5. I am one of 2 hosts of a podcast called Your Spiritual Girlfriend. First season on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. Shameless plug. And I am a healer. So y'all go check us out. But yeah, I'm doing many things. I'm a student too. So all that together. I am single for you eligible healing black men.
You're gonna put that out there too, then, right?
Black men. Let's put that out there. So yeah, it's a little bit about me.
Okay, thank you. Late to chime in. Where's Akilah? Akilah, there you go.
Akilah?
Is she frozen? How you doing, baby girl?
Hi, how are you?
Good. I need you to tell people something about yourself real quick, Akilah.
I'm the inspirationalist, otherwise known as Coach Q. Confidence and relationship is my niche, or that's my lane.
That's your lane, confidence and relationships. So we're going to find out how much you know about relationships right now. So being a confidence and relationship is your lane, we're going to let you start first, okay? Because you're going to talk about building confidence. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
All right, let's hear about this building confidence.
Well, I think that first of all, I want to start with, like, I saw one of the lives you guys did, and you talked about women submitting.
Okay,
And
women submitting. Okay, you're right.
Women submitting to men and are willing, women willing and able to do it.
Yes.
And what are the reasons that they submit, or what are reasons women don't submit? And I want to segue into confidence, just starting there, because a lot of times one's inability to submit is really tied to their confidence. The way we show up in relationship, the way we show up in purpose is a reflection of the confidence we have in ourselves. Because if I'm good with me, then I don't have to be in competition with nobody else. And for women, that's one of the things that I'm constantly wanting to reiterate is, even within your romantic relationship, your partner is your
Yes.
teammate. They
Yes.
are, they are not meant to, be pitted. You're not supposed to be pitting you guys against each other through conversations. You're leveraging their gifts, not being in competition with them. But when I'm solid with me, Reggie, then
Yes.
I can be solid with him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In other words, just sit on the passenger side and just let the male lead, right?
That's all right. That's all right
Okay.
right there.
Okay. Okay.
Right hand.
Okay. Now, give me the first step when you say building confidence, and you want to help a woman build confidence. Give me the first step in building confidence, I guess.
I'm gonna be honest. I think every person's steps, I believe, is going to be different in what you put of order of rank or importance. Because for some people, they may need to do some things externally first, which are going to play a major part into their internal confidence. So, to give you an example, how you feel about yourself. Somebody may need to make sure that their attire is good. They might need to make sure that their hair is together. But then they want to make sure their money is right. That's an external contributor. They want to make sure that they got the career that they want, or whatever the case may be, and these things fuel their internal confidence. So for some people, they go work on the inside stuff where they may develop, and get strength, their confidence in their faith as a foundation, or just believing in themselves, affirming themselves, speaking life into themselves and over the things that they're going to do. So for some people, it's important that you start on the inside. You start working on what you're listening to, work on what you watch, being intentional about that. And for other people, they might have to start on the outside and work their way inside.
Autumn, what do you got to say about that?
Yeah, I second that. I think confidence is an internal fire. I think it's something that you nurture and attend to on your own. And like Akilah was saying, it depends. It varies per person. Some people have to start from the outside in and really evaluate their input, what they're taking in daily, whether that be through media or whether that be through food, whether that be through their environment, generational trauma. There's so many different variables that play into confidence, and a lot of times we don't have the insight or the resources to dig deeper than
No.
our physical appearance. So it's important to have people like Akilah to speak to that and give us those other perspectives to check out.
Now, when you mention internal battles, you mean healing from something that they may have endured. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
And which is going to lead us into healing as well, right? So,
Oh Lord, here we go. Here we go.
right.
So yeah, something that I advocate for, especially in Black women, is conscious healing. We have a unique set of traumas that we deal with and carry around in our bodies, which is our baggage. And we speak a lot about trauma. There's a lot of celebration around trauma, about the cancel culture, that is the it is what it is mindset, the walking around just dropping people off, dismissing people, just walking around just really just being void. And we celebrate that in our society nowadays, especially with the advent of reality TV. It's anything but reality, but we celebrate it and we trend it. So we liken ourselves to those people who are getting paid to play a personality on TV, and that's anything but the truth. The truth is, a lot of us are broken, honestly, and our traumas, our damages, our bruises, our baggage it weighs differently. It comes with a different set of components and items than other cultures. We have trauma from being abused as children. Um, Black men have been molested and shut up about it. They have a unique set of traumas. Black women, being threatened, abused, mistreated medically. We have a different set of traumas that we deal with, and we don't have the avenues and the channels to speak about it, or even the dialogue to even identify it. So yeah, a lot of our healing needs to be centered around identifying our trauma first. So Yeah, let's start with that.
And once you identify, what's the first step in healing? I do have to ask you that question.
Well, first let's define healing. Healing is a commitment. It's a sacrifice. It's anything but pretty. I think healing is more of a rolling of the sleeves and deciding that you're ready to get dirty with yourself. Healing is a revolution for yourself. It doesn't involve anyone else. And maybe there are other people or variables that played a part in your brokenness, like from childhood or whatever the case may be. But healing is a self act. That's something that you come to realize that you have the power to do, and that's where the dirt digging comes in. When
And
you
is
realize,
that taking out time to yourself and figuring out how to heal? Is that what you're saying? How to
it
forgive yourself, or what? I'm trying to figure out what procedures is what I'm
it
saying.
is it varies per person. So for some people, you need outside resources. You need a confidence coach. You need a therapist. You need friends that will hold you accountable. But healing is about asking yourself the hard questions. It is about fighting for yourself. It is all about self work. And again, that trauma, digging into that trauma is anything but pretty, because that involves going back into your past, asking the questions of how this happened, why it happened, and what can I do to fix this? Not placing blame on the person who may have caused it or planted the seed, but asking yourself, why did I nurture this seed? And what allowed me to make this okay throughout my adult life? Because a lot of our traumas play out in our relationships. And that's why a lot of us are single. A lot of us can't submit because we're afraid that we're not good enough. We're afraid that we won't stack up to the role and play our position. We all have roles and positions, and that may vary per relationship. But some of us don't know who we are, so we don't know where we belong. So
Why?
healing is down and dirty with yourself.
But why are women lacking confidence in today's society when majority of women hold phenomenal positions? Majority of women make a great or a decent amount of salary. Majority of women have their own home and their own. They have their own unit and they control their own household. So where's the lack of confidence coming from? That's what I want to know.
Again,
I think that
go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, that's okay. I want to just piggyback off what you were saying, because I believe that confidence and healing are synonymous. They're
Mm-hmm.
not the same, but I think that they can definitely be synonyms. Um, because if you think of confidence like you would, like, imagine a chair. And when you have this chair, that chair is dependable. It's something you can lean on. It's something you can sit on. But the minute that one of the legs break, now that chair becomes, the strength of that chair becomes compromised. It's not that the chair is not useful. It's not that the chair, it's not that there aren't things that you can do to even rig it so that you can, like, still leverage the chair, but it's now in an insecure place. So
Mm-hmm.
every time somebody tries to lean on it, they have to start making accommodations to the fact that there is a broken part to that leg. And because nobody's really healing it or working on it, what they're doing is they're constantly just, they're just accommodating, they're pacifying the chair. And so but it's never being correctly fixed. And so I believe that sometimes women, exist like that. We put band-aids, we do these temporary fixes that still leaves insecurity, where we can't even trust in ourselves in certain areas, let alone trust somebody else. And then we don't even want you to remove our band-aid to see that we've got this crack in us, where that's where our insecurity actually is. And so we've good because we've masked it. We've masked it with whatever temporary things, or we've masked it with
Clothes,
other things. We've
clothes and
adorned it. That's
push-up
right.
bras,
That's right. We've adorned it. We've adorned the
lipstick,
chair. You put
booty
one of them.
implants, and everything. You know what I'm saying? You're masking it. It's the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so
I think
because
there's a
you're
major.
masking it with all of this artificial stuff, women talk about men, but eyelashes, breast implant, booty implants, waist reductions. But at the end of the day, how can a man know if a woman's broken or not? What's the determining signs?
Conversation. Here's what I tell people. A rule of thumb is, even for the couples that I speak to, I'm a Bible person. I believe in God. Everybody believe in what they want, but what I believe is there's value when God said be fruitful and multiply. I don't care
Yes.
who you are, and I don't care what religion or whatever you believe. It should make sense to you that when you and somebody else get together, that everything we have multiplies. our peace,
There
our
you
Yeah.
go.
joy,
You're right.
our
You're right.
finances, not
Yes.
just baby making, but
Yes.
making sure that we're magnifying everything that's in our life. Now, what we do want to make sure is that because of this idea of multiplication and this reality, when it becomes a reality for you, see, when you're in a position to multiply, you are able to quickly identify anything that's dividing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Speak.
All right. All
Right.
right. All
So
right.
I
Yes.
believe, the Bible says, how can a house stand if it's divided against itself? I'm going to notice if my peace starts being divided. I'm going to notice if my joy starts being divided, and I'm going to know who's dividing it. Now, because I do confidence coaching, confidence means you got to be confident even in the issues that you bring to the table, to where
Yes.
you can live in your truth and say, you know what? I realize that my issue spawned this whole argument, and I could have just been quiet, shut my mouth, used less words, said okay, or whatever it is, not as a position of submission to the point where you don't have a voice, but
Yes.
understand that there's a time and a place for everything. Not everything deserves an answer. Not everything deserves to be an argument. And so that's where I believe, how do you know? I'll tell men in a minute. If a woman, it says in the Bible that it's better for a man to sit on a roof than in a house with a contentious
There
woman.
you go.
If you
There
if
you
you
go.
if you in a relationship with a woman and she's not causing nothing but headache, and there's no, and it would go the same if it was men, if it was a woman with a man. But I feel like too many people make it okay to say, well, we're just supposed to stick it out, and we're supposed to be okay, and we're supposed to just have this long lasting relationship despite the dysfunction. I say go fix the leg to that chair that you put that nice cover up, so that we both can exist in a secure place. And now I don't have to spend so much time adorning you to mask your dysfunction or mask that insecurity, but we can actually both be secure. And now I can hold some weight as this strong chair, and you can hold some weight.
All right. All right. All right. All right.
Two things I want to touch on. The first one, Reggie, when you were saying that women mask up their insecurities with eyelashes and implants
Yes.
and hair.
Yes.
Now, there's
Yes.
sides of that. Confidence plays a major part in how that functions. So, a confident woman can go out here and get eyelashes and blue hair and wear makeup and pop in red lipstick and walk as confidently as she would without any makeup or hair at all. And an
Absolutely.
unconfident woman would use those things as external attachments to validate her. There's a major difference, and I think that the way that you discern um, a non-confident woman from a confident woman is to see how she moves when those variables are removed from her. So you
Absolutely.
have to see a woman in different light. You have to see who she is behind the mask, behind the makeup, and see how comfortable she is behind exposing that to you. The other part of that is in relationship. A lot of our truths come out in relationships because we feel vulnerable, we feel exposed, we feel sometimes safe enough to expose our truth, and it can be very uncomfortable. So in some instances, yes, if you're with someone who's constantly triggering you intentionally out of their own void, then you should know that that's not a good place for you to be. But there are times when you're in connection with someone and it's designed to make you uncomfortable.
Well,
It's designed to help you grow, and growth is not comfortable because that breaking hurts. And then if someone's there nurturing you through it and willing to sit with you through it and not throw you away, then that's a good connection. Doesn't mean it's going to be pretty, it's going to be easy, and it's going to be selfie ready, but it does mean it's going to be uncomfortable and make you a better person.
I'm sending a shout out to Shantae and the eyelashes. All right. Yes, I'm talking about eyelashes, Shantae. But ladies, you got anything else you want to interject on that? Because I got a special guest for you. I got a surprise.
Yep. I actually wanted to add to
Go
that
ahead.
too, just around the makeup and all those things. Because I think now there is a such thing as preference. I feel like what we have to be
Mhm.
mindful of is not putting everybody in two boxes. You're either in this group or you're in this group. You're either secure or you're insecure. I believe that or if you wear makeup, it's because of this reason or this reason.
And
Or there could be a third reason or a fourth reason. Because what if somebody cannot grow hair, and maybe they
I
have
agree with that one.
lack of confidence just because they just don't want to be bald, right? I believe that there is a such thing as preference,
The
and
ones I
sometimes
usually
because
talk
I'm
about walk around arrogant though. So there's a
oh,
difference.
I got
It's
you,
a
I got
difference.
you,
It's a
I
difference
got
in
you.
being humble, but walking around arrogant and cocky. But ladies, I got a special guest. I got my Dr. Phil that's going to come on the show, okay? I want y'all to say hello to Jody. What's going on, Jody?
Hi, Jody.
Hi, how are you? I had to unmute
Jody.
myself. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good, Jody. This is my Dr. Phil. Go ahead, Jody. I want you to give a little background about yourself.
Okay, my name is Jody Covington. I actually have dual citizenship, so I've lived in Bermuda. I moved to Georgia in 2017. I have 2 master's degrees. My first is in professional counseling with an emphasis in marriage and family. My second is in public relations and marketing. I own several businesses, one being a marketing firm, and I also own and believe I am the first and only Black woman to own a drop buried cable business here in the United States. So we actually bury cable lines under the ground, but that's a whole nother discussion. And I also run a soca themed cruise called Uber Soca Cruise, which is now the world's largest theme cruise, where it was post the cruise industry taking a nosedive, and hopefully it comes back up soon.
So you give them discounts then, right?
Me. I worked in...
Everybody on this panel get a free cruise. I'm just joking.
Come on. Yes. So I worked in the mental health space for about 7-8 years before transitioning into public relations and marketing. And I specialized in marriage and family and at risk, low income, and mental health. So that's the background about me.
Okay, so we're talking about building confidence and healing for the Black women. Go ahead, Jody. Could you elaborate on what you want to add in when it comes to building confidence and healing for the Black women?
I apologize. I think my dogs are barking in the background, so I apologize for them. I think that it's important. First of all, the ladies are doing a lovely job with kind of pointing out key things. When I think about it, when I have been thinking and preparing for this conversation about healing and the lack of confidence, I think, and that has already been noted, is something that is critical that women and men need to do, and it's the level of accountability, right? And accountability is the first step when it comes to the healing process. We have to own our stuff, as they say. And I think that in owning our stuff and atoning for your own personal discretions and sins, if we may, that's the only way that we can get to a level of acceptance and healing. And I've worked with a lot of women, and they come into the office and they're like, oh, he did this or she did that. And when you ask them like what they did, they're like, oh, well, shoot. Well, the only place I was wrong is like, I knew they were going to do it. Okay, so let's deal with that. Let's deal with the fact that you already knew that this person was going to do this awful act to you, and that you allowed yourself to participate in something that you ultimately knew was going to hurt you. Let's deal with that. So there's always a level of accountability. And one of the young ladies kind of addressed this in a different way earlier. So I think that the most important step in healing is accepting accountability in, what is your role in your own hurt? I wrote a book called Stop Hurting Yourself, and it addresses this in pure detail, where the book is mainly about how we have the ability to distort our realities. We create versions of events that are in our mind. Our brain is programmed to stop pain. So if we're going through a painful situation, our brain will reprogram that situation. That's why some women can be in these abusive relationships for years and think, oh my God, he loves me. Does he, or does that version of him in your head love you? Because he is who he is. And why all of your friends and your family can say, girl, he is horrible. Why are you with him? And that one girl is like, well, what are you talking about? He treats me great. Like, I mean, I know he's a little rough around the edges, but that man loved me. He loved him some me. We all have our friends, and we're like, girl.
But the biggest problem is women hate to be held accountable for anything. Women hate to be held accountable for anything. That's a fact.
It's not a fact. I think people hate to be held accountable. I think
men don't mind being held accountable. Men are held accountable every day. But when you put the woman up to what she's been doing and you try to hold her accountable, that's when the fight breaks out. A woman won't even say I'm sorry. Women won't even say I'm sorry.
Well, this is
No, I
the
think it depends
narrative
on the
that is
type of
out
women, and I think
here.
it depends on the level of maturity. But ultimately, people hate to be held accountable. And I think that it's important to note that from the day that we're like born into this world,
Yes.
we have learned the skills to manipulate and get our way. Whether that's the baby that's crying and nothing is wrong with it, but it just wants you to pick it up for whatever reason, we're taught this from the day that we're born, how to manipulate to get our way. And if not corrected, we will go through life not being accountable, learning how to manipulate, learning how to control, learning how to get our way, because we only do what works and we only change when it no longer works. So if you have a human being, male or female, that has spent their life doing things and it worked, they're going to continue to do that. So I think that, yes, women, sometimes you have a hard time saying that we were wrong, but so do men, or they don't say it at all. They just kind of dip out on you.
Okay, I don't know
I want to
if
add
you
to
ladies.
Reggie's point, because a major part of the destruction of the black man and the black woman dynamic is that we feed into this narrative and we give fire to this false narrative that women are a certain way or men are a certain way. And Reggie, I'm speaking to you because you're the only male on the show right now.
Hold on. Don't start no fist fight now, okay? Don't start no fist fight. I'm ready. Go ahead.
Whether you're speaking in general or
Yes.
this is a hardcore belief of your own, but when you say that women are this certain way and that we are not responsible or mature enough to help hold ourselves accountable, that triggers some women to feel unsafe around black men, because you have this platform to hold everyone accountable, and women will hold on to your words and use you as a representation for all black men. So when women are out here saying they don't feel safe, it could be because the ones they hear on the radio, the ones they hear on TV, the ones that are in their homes are telling them that they are not good enough to hold themselves accountable. So we have to be aware.
They're good enough to do it. They're good enough to do it by all means.
You know what? I want to piggyback off of that, because you're so absolutely right. And it plays into, as we're talking about, the lack of confidence, right? Earlier, you mentioned that, women are doing so well. Why don't they have confidence? But factually and statistically and economically, women are not. Where women are still, and particularly black women, are still the lowest paid in society. Black women are still No. I can send you the statistic. I'll text them to you right now.
Compared to white men, probably, but not compared to black men.
When you look at the tech industry, it's white men, it's white women, it's black men, and then there's black women way at the bottom. You can look at
the tech women in the tech industry. We're like, I think maybe 1%. Like at the end of the day, there is a complete. Sorry, it's a fly in my house. There is a complete. It's a false narrative to believe that black women are doing so much better and they should be so confident, and because that's just untrue. Black women are still more likely to be single mothers. They're still more. They're still more likely to be the last to get married.
That's a whole different conversation there. That's a whole different conversation.
It's the same conversation, because we're talking about a lack of confidence, right? So, so these are some things that contribute to the lack of confidence. And as we are atoning for our own sins and fighting the world to have a place and position in the world, in this space, and be respected by not only our men, but also our women and our mothers, and we're dealing with all these things, it goes to a lack of confidence. Most women that I've worked with, I'll speak personally, have no idea what they're doing out here. Most people are winging it every single day. They're out here trying to figure it out, and so are women. And so a lot of women, are out here with a lack of confidence and need to do a lot of self-work and a lot of healing, just like our black men do. It's just not, black women here. But the topic of the day is black women. And again, it just think it's a false narrative to create. You're beautiful, you're black,
black, even ugly and black, you still show confidence though. But
irregardless, it still falls into the narrative that just because you're a black woman, you should suck it up and be okay and have the confidence and move through life.
I didn't say suck it up, but women are
superwoman complex that black women face. on a day-to-day basis where they're expected to be strong every single day. You're expected to get up and do even when you're hurting. And I'm talking too much, but that's my take.
Okay, Jody. Yeah, we know that, Jody. Okay. I'm going to let you go, Aqueela, and then I do have a question I want everybody to respond to. Okay, go ahead, Akilah.
When we talk about again, like you said, talking about confidence and even in strength, there is, I believe, too much confidence that I feel like there has to be this healthy place where we can be confident in knowing that there is healing that we need. I oftentimes say it takes confidence to heal and to seek healing. Because a lot of times it's a vulnerable place for me to tell you the broken areas of my life. It's vulnerable. It takes it takes a different type of strength for me to show up with the Dr. Phil and tell her my business about my marriage or my relationship, because this might not be a common practice for me.
That's pride too. That's has something to do
It's
with
not
pride.
always pride. Hold on. It's not always pride. Sometimes it's unfamiliarity. So it's just like a child who is learning how to walk.
Yes.
They are walking and they're shaky, not because of pride, but at the same time may not want you to hold their hand, because like she just said, people are figuring it out and they're winging it, and we've been doing it since we learned how to walk.
It doesn't work. So at some point we have to stop trying to figure out and wing it and take a different direction, is all I'm saying.
And I agree with that, but it's still a place of maturity and growth. It takes that is even where I'm not saying that there isn't a cost associated with the insecurity that may be attached to me not sharing that I need help. There are people who don't find out they have cancer until the final hour because they're afraid to go and talk to someone about it being in their private area because it's not comfortable for them. That's not pride. That's insecurity at its finest. I lack the confidence to be able to share with you that there's something going on in a part of me that you're gonna cause me to have to expose something about myself that I'm not ready for. So what I'm saying is to her very point, is that there are women who I share, you don't know my story, but I had an affair when I was 25 years old, and I ruined my marriage and my family. It took time to grow, to know how to be able to share that, because and I'm a believer who's been a believer
zoom in
since
on that. We need to give you straight attention, okay? We got a confession going on right now.
Listen, but it's a part of my story, and it's one of the things I've shared it on stages. It's nothing anybody can say to make me feel a way about it anymore. But I remember when I felt like God was like, you're going to share this story. And I was like, no, I'm not, because I'm not telling anybody this because of the shame that was attached to it. That's insecurity. Because of the judgment that I was concerned about, that's insecurity. Now at this place, I'm not concerned about you judging me. I'm not concerned about how you're going to feel about that. I can take full responsibility and have taken full responsibility. People can project, Aqueela, well, what about if your husband did this and did that? Don't you think he deserved? He never deserved. And it was 100% my doing. And even if he did something wrong, my mother taught me 2 wrongs don't make a right. So I got to be accountable for me all day, evenings, weekends, and holidays. But it took time and it took maturity. And I tell people, I'm going to be honest, church people, we have it the worst. Because I think we have it the worst of the idea of being righteous and suffering from perfectionism and people not even realizing it. And now my lack of confidence really has attributed to some of the upbringing in what's supposed to be a professional or a personal development space. I believe church should be personally developing people, but many times it's actually cultivating the insecurities instead of helping people grow through them. And so that's where, if I'm afraid, and I'm one of them, to tell you about my indiscretion, because you have in your mind and in your rules that if I don't look a certain way, that there's no love for me, there's no grace for me, blah, 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 right? So what I'm saying is I'll go back to my initial point. It's not always pride. It's not always somebody's, it, like she said, it could be maturity, and maturity there's levels to this. Okay. There's levels to maturity,
Now I want to say, if you want to fully cleanse yourself, you can drop a name, and you know what I mean? And you can drop his name if you want to.
Drop whose name?
He being messy.
The guy you had the affair with.
Because I'm fully cleansed confused already.
I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing. But I do have a serious question. I do have one of the people that chimed in, and I'm gonna run this question to Akilah, Autumn, and then Jody. I'm gonna let you wrap it up. They want to know. They want you to please explain how a person can build confidence after losing a loved one to gun violence, and they're still dealing with the trauma.
I would say, losing people is hard. Like, no, any day of the week, it's hard. I lost a sister this year as well. Not to gun violence. So it's not to say that, we're in the same boat. But when I tell you that I'm a real confidence coach who will speak very truthful about, my experiences. And I told people that, when my sister committed suicide this year, it set me down. It set me down because in that moment, it ain't like I felt responsible or because I'm a confidence coach, I should have been able to catch and fix things. I don't own those things. And I don't put that on myself to own for anybody. But what I do know is that, like you're speaking to, losing loved ones can put you in such an emotional state where you're having this eternal war about so many things and thoughts and just so many emotions and feelings that you have at the same time that you do bear the weight of insecurity. But what I must say that I'm giving you a very general answer without knowing enough
No, that's
detail.
good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
But I would say that, it's still one day at a time. And again, to know that, we don't own somebody else's journey. I think we just gonna be mindful of time. I think that's something I would want to leave with you. You don't own somebody else's journey. You don't own the decisions of the person that you lost. You don't own the decision of the person who did it. And many times we're trying to imagine ourselves doing something that would have created a different outcome. I don't feel that we're going to find confidence through that, but more so in being able to accept that this was unfair or unreasonable or whatever the case, or unjust, the pain that it comes with it, the anger, being able to accept it, sit in it for a moment, know that you and your feelings are real, but then give yourself, but since we like to paint narratives, let's paint ourselves a narrative that one thing I had to remind myself is that I can and will recover.
Okay.
So that's what I would say is, know that about you. You will recover. It ain't got to be today, but you will recover.
They're watching it live right now and they're listening. Okay, Autumn, do you want to elaborate?
Yes. To me, grief is a very personal experience. I think that grief is an indicator that we sometimes feel like we didn't have enough time to fulfill a purpose with a person. So most time when someone is grieving for an extended amount of time, it's because they feel like they didn't have enough time to fulfill their task or, complete a thing with that person. And I don't believe that anything is by coincidence, no matter how tragic. I don't think that anything is by coincidence. What I would tell this person is feel it, feel all of your feelings. Don't invalidate anything that you feel and express yourself. Find a creative outlet to express yourself. Be honest about what you need, and seek help. Like, community is everything. Connection will help you heal in ways that you never thought possible. Humans, we need connection. If anything else, if no food or water, we need connection. We need one another. And one thing that keeps us bogged down is believing that we are in a situation by ourselves. That's no one else has dealt with this in the way that we have. But all of us are connected for a reason. And there's someone who's in your life who's there for this exact purpose to help you through this process. I tell people all the time, pain is going to come. It's inevitable. Without a doubt, you're going to experience pain. Invite it in, sit with it, get intimate with it, find out why it's there, find out what it's there for you, to do within you. Let it stay the night, but don't let it live with you. You got to kick it out at some point. And as you iterate through your feelings, as you express those feelings, as you talk to someone, talk therapy, whatever it may be, as you exercise that pain out, as you massage it out, you'll build your muscle and you'll start to heal. And that's when you realize that it's time for pain to go. Give it its eviction date.
Thanks a lot. And the reason I brought this question up is because healing is a part of getting better and doing better. And it's gun violence. It doesn't matter what you have to heal from. It's just a point that you have to heal point blank. So let's go to Dr. Phil.
I love that you're calling me this, my Dr. Phil. I love that. So I will say this. Grief is a process. There is a whole form of therapy that's dedicated to grief. And I'm not sure who asked that question, but
she's chimed in on the comments, and I didn't know. Yeah, you probably
no, that's fine.
Yeah.
But because I want to talk directly to that individual. I want you to do some research on the 5 steps of grief, right? So you have anger. You have denial. That's initially when you first learn about the death. You have anger. You have bargaining. You have depression, and then you have acceptance, right? The goal is to get to acceptance, because when you get to acceptance, that's truly when you really can start healing from the trauma of that experience, right? And what I would advise you to do, and this is work that you can do by yourself, or you can reach out to even a friend, a loved one, if you don't have access to any type of formal therapy, but have somebody that to do this with you, because it's always better with a friend. Journal about the different stages that you're currently in. So if you're in the denial stage, right at the top of that book, denial. This cannot be true. I don't believe it. Forget that, because I was with them yesterday. Whatever that denial is for you, you break that down. And I'm telling you, this sounds so like, oh, this is, I don't want to do that. But I challenge you to do the work and to identify, even on a calendar, the dates you've moved to the next step, right? So you've gone through your denial phase, and then September 16th, I'm pissed. I'm in my angry stage. I can't believe that this crap happened, and who did it. I'm going to find them, and the police are not doing anything. I identify these things, even in a tangible way. Bring it to life. Get it out of your head. Put it in your hands, write it down, bring it to something that you can visualize and see, because what you're doing is you're setting up your mind to even see how you're progressing, because setting up for big accomplishments starts with the small ones, right? So we want to be able to set these goals, which is getting through this process, right? And then when you get through that anger process, write on the calendar when you're on bargaining, and that's like, man, I would do anything to have this loved one back. I would give my life, my heart, and man, if I can just do this or that, you start bargaining with yourself or with whatever higher being that you serve, and the like, and then you go into this depression stage where you realize that you were in denial. That didn't work because the situation did happen. You're angry. That's not helping, because that's not solving the problem. You try to bargain and try to reason your way out of these thoughts, and that's not happened. And then you get into a phase of, just depression, because you realize nothing that you're doing is working to really kind of get through it. And then finally, you eventually get to a phase of acceptance. And when you get to acceptance of what is taking place, and you can atone for any type of involvement or lack thereof. Some people blame themselves because they simply was not there. But once we get through all these steps, I think that's where the healing process starts in the grief process. So that's what I'll add. It's systematic. It's been tested and tried and true to really identify where you're at in this process. And so that's my addition. And I wish you all the best with that.
Thank you, ladies, for responding. Yeah, grief and healing is something that many of us have to deal with and unfortunately, we have to deal with it more during this COVID era. Roughly about a little bit over, not this Saturday, but last Saturday, I lost my brother on my father's side of the family. And this Saturday, I lost my nephew, which is his son, which is exactly 7 days later. So grieving is something you have to embrace. And, that's the only way you're going to be able to heal and get past and go forward. Ladies, is there anything a man could do to assist when it comes to the healing process? Oh, shucks, crickets, boy. It's crickets.
The thing about it is, I will start, and I'll keep my comments brief. And someone said this earlier. Healing
has to be something a man could do, though. You can't. But go ahead. I'm gonna let you talk, doctor. Go ahead, Jody.
Okay, so healing is such a personal thing to do. It is so intimately. You're so vested in in discovering this thing and how to come out of it, right? So if you have a great man, beside you, I believe that there are things that he can do to assist you in this process and support you in the process. And men, if you're listening, I don't believe that comes in the form of
blowing up, Doctor.
hold on. Sorry. People keep calling me here. I believe this doesn't come in the form of you, whatever you need me to do, I just want you to feel better. Just, that aggressive, like just kind of get over it or just let me help you.
It's not get over it, but sometimes a guy just wants to be there. He wants to feel needed. He wants to be able to say, I got your back. What is it I can do to help you? That's basically what he's saying.
Right. So there's no singular answer for that, because as a mate, you're going to know your mate. But I will say, you need to communicate with that person. And the question is how can I support you through this hurt? How can I help support your healing process? And hopefully that person you're with is mature enough to say, you know what, I just really need you to hold me. I just really need you to take me to my counselor tomorrow. Can you do that? Or I really need you, just check on me because I may not be okay. Or, it's coming up on the 3-year anniversary of this really hurtful thing, and I really want you to dive. So I think it's a matter of just asking, how can I love you through this? How can I support you through this? And hopefully that person is mature enough to articulate the way that they need that support.
Autumn?
Yeah, the second that, simply put, just hold space for the person. However that may look, if they're mature enough to communicate that in a way that the man can receive it, honor that. People, they go through their healing process different ways. That journey looks different for everybody. But if you find that this person is genuine, they're authentic and willing to go through this healing process, and they are in need of that support, communicate that you want to know what they need. Communicate that you are there to support them through it, and that you will be there. A lot of our traumas come from being abandoned, and the worst thing you can do for someone who has abandonment issues is communicate that you're not listening. And that could come in the form of over talking. That can come in the form of being on your phone when they're communicating.
Don't say that. My wife over talk her all the time. Don't say that.
Bingo. But that could be a major red flag to the person who's going through a healing process, because that symbolizes to them that you're not attentive, that you're not available, and that you're not willing to hold space for them. So you have to be attentive. You have to be empathetic. You have to be present. And that puts a lot of responsibility on the person who's offering that position up. So you have to have the bandwidth to be present for another person. So if you have two damaged people trying to hold space for one another and they can't hold themselves up, then you're both just working in the same void. So it really does boil down to, do I have space for this significant other, to hold space for them? Do I have the courage to go through this with them? And am I strong enough to stand here? Or can I discern whether I'm being abused, used, or being genuinely accepted for what I'm offering? Because a lot of times we can support somebody through their trauma and we're being abused in the process, and that's never healthy. We should know when to get out, when it's not serving for us, because we put ourselves first, but we should be available to hold space for someone when they're accepting of it.
But it's like a double-edged sword. I mean, you're telling a man to give you space or just give you time to heal. It's like a double-edged sword. Saying, give me time to heal. But a caring man is going to want to do what he wants, what he can to try to help you out, to help you get past whatever you're enduring. Now, if it's a guy that didn't care, the guy's probably going to go hang out. He's going to say, I'm going to give you your space. What is it I can do to help you? And you're going to say nothing. And then he's probably just going to move on and just go hang out with his fellas. And then at that point, he's abandoning you. He's not supporting you. So, I mean, it's like it's a double-edged sword. It can't win for losing.
Well, I will say this, right? So hurt people don't hurt people. And I mean, hurt people hurt people. And I'll also say this, for some reason, there has been a gap in the understanding of how important counseling is. Some people are not equipped to deal with some things, right? Yeah. So, and I say this to say for some reason, people feel like they can heal the world, right? I tell, and even in mental health, I tell even kids that I speak with, if you have someone that's in trouble or having an episode or a traumatic situation or is on the verge of suicide, you are not equipped to handle that. You may need to seek help to be able to handle that situation. And if you really see that your mate is struggling with healing with whatever the situation is, and you are unequipped to help, the best thing you can do is get the person the help that they actually need. Maybe you pushing to do certain things is actually making it worse, So I would say the best thing you can do is discover the resources available, because there are professional resources out there, and they're more than likely sometimes free, and invite that person to participate in this. It's so great for a man to say to me, I don't know how to help you through this because I've never been through it. I don't know what you're feeling, but you know what? I want to help you find the resources to get through this. And that to me is beautiful.
And you said the magic word, free.
There's some
you said the magic word, free. If you say that to a man and you don't say free, he's going to be like, huh. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Autumn.
Some people are just not ready. We talk about this in one of our episodes on Your Spiritual Girlfriend podcast. The title of the show is He's Not Your Therapist. And a lot of us walk around with this fix-it mentality, this codependency, to where we want to jump into something and save a person. And it's more damaging than it is helpful. So when you're dealing with a broken person and you are broken in a different way, you're looking to fulfill a different kind of void, a mommy need, by going and taking on the pain from someone who is traumatized. You are aiding in their demise. So instead of sitting there and being a punching bag for someone's trauma, or trying to force help on someone who is really not ready or willing to give that assistance, it is more helpful to leave. Whether it's helpful to you or that person, it is more helpful to the situation to leave, because no one has permission to beat up on you. No one has permission to violate you or themselves in a relationship and call that love. Like, you have the power, and it's your privilege to say, no, I'm not taking that. Whether you are male or female, I tell Black men all the time, you don't have to stand and take it just because you are pictured to be this strong, enduring. You're still a human being. Right. Your heart is still valuable. It's still hurt. You still have emotions, the same emotions that we have, and it is not her job to unload on you. So you have the honor. It is your honor, your privilege, and your duty to say that this is my boundary. You were crossing, you were violating me, and I'm telling you, don't do it again.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
You have the honor to leave. And regardless of what that looks like to society, you're still a human being. So I don't tend to the whole stay there and take it because you're a strong Black man. I don't tend to the whole stay there and take abuse because you're a strong Black woman. Bump that. We have boundaries. We have ins and outs, and we have the privilege to say no.
All right. And you guys tackled a conversation that could be talked about for about an hour, 2 hours, a couple of days. It could be talked about several weeks. It's a conversation that we had to break up into segments. Is there anything else that you ladies want to contribute to the topic, Black women, how to build confidence, and how to heal?
I don't want to go on to the next because I know it's going to be another show.
Well, hold on. What's the next? What you got to say?
Well, I would just urge Black women to invent yourself. Because a lot of us don't know what we're rooted in. We don't know who we are. We don't know what we are outside of what society tells us to be. We haven't dug into our passions. We haven't dug into our love and our purpose. We don't even know what purpose is, let alone how to identify it in ourselves. I would urge Black women to start asking ourselves questions. What drives us to get up every day? What puts a smile on our face? What really just motivates us to what makes us happy? Asking ourselves that question, what will make me happy? And fighting for that. So just look into inventing yourself, regardless of personal opinions, society's opinions, societal norms. Just get real personal with who you are first.
Okay. Dr. Phil.
So I would love to wrap up my thoughts like this. When you see craziness or chaos in a woman's life, it is literally an outward manifestation of what is happening inside. And some women don't even know when they're hurt, or they don't even know when it's time to heal, because life and society says get up and keep it going. You may be so hurt, but you still got to get up and get them babies ready tomorrow. You still got to take them to school. You still got to get them back from school. You got to cook dinner. You got to do this. Your phone's blowing up. This person's tech. It just is ever going. So what I would say is that if you finally acknowledge, which is also literally the first step, it's like acknowledging, that you are hurt and need to heal. Do me a favor and look around, look at your life. If you see chaos in any aspects of your life, understand that that is literally an outward manifestation of what is happening inside. And then start doing the work. Don't believe that there is no one out here that is willing to help, and there's no one out here that's willing to support. Utilize the resources that are out here. There are so many women that have done the work, that know the journey that you're on, that are willing to share, that are willing to support. So I think my wrap-up message is that there's support out here for you, and that we as Black women, I believe like never before, we have wrapped our arms around each other and said, look, sister, I'm here with you. We can heal together. I've been there. I've done that. I've experienced the same thing. And I believe that now is the best time for the opportunity to heal, right? It's an opportunity. Not everybody has that opportunity. Most will sit and wallow in it for years. They would have been raped at 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And at 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70, you are still experiencing the ramifications of that horrible situation that happened to you as a child. So having the opportunity to heal is massive. And I just urge you to just face that opportunity head on, utilize the resources that are out there, get the support, get the sisterhood. And I always say, I said earlier to a guy that was kind of running on about this stuff. I said, sometimes I wish that men would just get out of women's business and let us heal.
That'll take forever. That'll never happen, unfortunately.
Just get out of our business and
that may take forever.
Heal. Let us get it
Stop
right.
walking in the salon. Get out
if I have
salon.
Another man tell me what I should be doing,
hey,
it's
this what you should be doing.
To get out of the business.
You're not on the screen no more, so y'all should be paying attention to me, okay?
You're not on
the screen no more, so you should be paying attention to me.
That's standing over my head while I'm getting it braided. This is not your business. Get out of my scalp.
Get out of women's business and let us heal.
We tried that for years. Okay, but I do want to say thank you, Autumn, for coming on the show. I want to say thank you, Autumn, for coming on the show. You did a phenomenal job. Dr. Phil, you're my Dr. Phil, so that's going to be the title now. So you might as well get used to coming on every now and then and being called Dr. Phil. But I'm going to do an episode with you as well. But thank you for coming on last minute. I planned on chiming her in with the phone, but Akilah had an issue where she had to leave 30 minutes after the show, so I hit up Jody, and Jody's like, okay, I can do it after much consideration. Thank you, Jody. You did a phenomenal job. And Akilah, thank you, Akilah, for coming on, giving us your feedback. I can't wait to bring you ladies back on. Maybe not all together, but on at a different time. But before I wrap it up, give one last minute credit shout out of how people can get in contact with you if you want them to get in contact with you, or what's the name of your podcast that you got going on. We're not doing no 2-minute or 3-minute, segment on this, okay?
So you can follow me on IG at I am Autumn Sonata, and also on Facebook, The Autumn Sonata. Our podcast is out. Latoya K and I, we have a podcast called Your Spiritual Girlfriend. Season 1 is out on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. We are filming season 2, and we will have some live guests on. Phenomenal show, great reviews. So look out for that. Other than that, yeah, you'll catch me on some tech conferences doing my tech thing. That's my space.
What tech you do? You're a hacker? Because I need a hacker. Because of my wife, I need to make sure she ain't talking to nobody else. Okay.
I can do enough to get folks found. Okay.
Okay.
I don't play with that.
A
but
PI.
No,
Okay.
design. So yeah, that's my space.
Okay. My Dr. Phil. What's going on, Jody?
So first of all, thank you for having me. I appreciate this opportunity because we touched bases and we connected, and I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to grace your platform. And I'm looking forward to doing this again. If the viewers, anyone wants to reach out to me, you can follow me on Instagram or hit me up, DM me. It's at Jody D. Lewis. I'm sorry, Jody D. Covington. I also my marketing firm is at JD Lewis Group, and obviously I'm all over Facebook and the like. So feel free to reach out. I'm looking forward to connecting with everybody.
All right. Thank you again, ladies, and I'll see y'all later. And we did such a phenomenal show. Let me make it rain real quick up in here, okay? See y'all later. I can't wait till y'all bring y'all back on again. Thank you, ladies. All right, have a good one.